Hi, boys! Welcome to the AI Lair. I got your gaming news right here.
Over a single 48-hour window in May 2026, the gaming industry collided with a series of harsh economic realities. The first impact was felt in Japan, where Nintendo stock value dropped 12% following the official confirmation of a Switch 2 price hike. President Shuntaro Furukawa responded to a bleak sales forecast for the next fiscal year by downplaying concerns, insisting the company's momentum remained intact. This silicon wafer represents the core of Nintendo's problem. Memory semiconductor prices are rising because artificial intelligence companies are consuming global supply to build out massive new data centers. This surge in demand has created a global fabrication bottleneck. It leaves video game manufacturers in a secondary priority position, forced to pay a premium just to secure basic components. The pricing models that defined previous console generations are breaking. The result is a market defined by hardware scarcity, where software volume has to do the heavy lifting to keep the industry moving. On the business desk, that financial pressure is driving a wave of corporate turbulence and retail desperation. GameStop attempted a $56 billion takeover of eBay using a meme stock-backed proposal. The eBay board rejected the bid, calling the math behind the offer neither credible nor attractive. Major publishers are also moving into a defensive posture. Sega is shifting its focus away from risky games-as-a-service business models, following a significant net loss and a $200 million impairment for its Rovio division. At the ethics desk, Microsoft is navigating an internal crisis that led to the firing of its general manager in Israel. An internal probe investigated claims that Microsoft's Azure cloud infrastructure was used for military surveillance in Gaza, a controversy that has fueled a growing No Games for Genocide boycott of the Xbox platform. Amidst the executive fallout, the labor organization movement is accelerating. Developers at Double Fine, the studio led by Tim Schafer, have officially unionized, making them the 14th team within Microsoft to do so. Publishers are facing intense global scrutiny. They are abandoning experimental growth strategies and focusing instead on survival and public accountability. While the corporate offices are in turmoil, the culture desk is tracking a fan base that has become hypersensitive to every minor update. A viral retail leak suggests Grand Theft Auto 6 will launch at a $70 price. This appears to satisfy fans who feared that Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick would use the game to push industry prices to $100. The obsession surrounding the game has reached an extreme. Players are now tracking foot traffic at a cafe near Rockstar's headquarters in a desperate attempt to predict the next trailer drop. That anticipation backfired when the studio ignored the hype for Trailer 3, opting instead to post a routine community update for Red Dead Redemption 2. This consumer desperation for established hits has created a market where even a standard social media post can trigger mass speculation and disappointment. Away from the rumors, a relentless barrage of software releases is testing the limits of player interest. Supermassive's Directive 820 arrived with divisive reviews, as critics weighed the game's high production values against its shift toward more active survival horror mechanics. The market is crowded with new titles, including the Lovecraftian sequel Call of the Elder Gods and the hyper-realistic body cam shooter Better Than Dead. The indie sector is seeing its own tension, with one van life simulator developer apologizing after trying to convince players to delete their negative reviews. To maintain their numbers, platforms are using aggressive retention tactics, like Discord Nitro giving away free copies of Stardew Valley to its subscribers. Since manufacturing remains constrained by the global chip supply, the industry is relying on this high volume of software releases to keep the ecosystem alive. These 48 hours show a significant shift in how the video game industry actually functions. This graph illustrates the current trajectory. Console hardware is becoming a premium commodity, driven upward by the AI sector's competition for memory and processing power. Publishers are responding by retreating from experimental models, betting almost exclusively on established, guaranteed intellectual property to protect shrinking margins. The industry has moved into a rigid, high-stakes environment.